following program is part of the Patriot Broadcasting Project, brought to you by the Scene Projects Podcast Network. Welcome into the Patriot Broadcasting Project. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is Arizona State Legislative candidate, Barby Ingle. Barby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Bubba. So glad to be here with you once again and looking forward to sharing with all of your watchers.
Yeah, well, and we're happy to have you, and we've had an opportunity to have you over on the Get Better Together project, and we highly recommend that everybody get to know a little bit more about your backstory in there. But you have become a legislative candidate because of something that had happened to you and hardships that you've faced in your life. So I want to pick it up from your accident so many years ago now, and you know the path that it's led you down to now, being an advocate for not just patients' rights, but for individual rights in your home state of Arizona.
Thank you. I was in an auto accident in 2002, and that triggered a rare disease that I had in me. I just did not know that I had it in me because I was not having symptoms until the accident triggered it. And turns out that it goes back to genetics, and we believe it goes back to my father's exposure during Vietnam to different agents. And we don't know the exact agent. We don't know the exact cause. We just know that a lot of people in the military end up developing the same rare disease, algoneurodystrophy. And it is triggered by a trauma. So it could be, you know, a bomb blast, or it could be a car accident. And so your body starts attacking itself. And I went from on top of the world. I had my own business. I was an entrepreneur. I was the head coach at Washington State University for the Spirit program, cheerleaders, dancers, mascot, and living my best life. And went from that down to bedbound, wheelchair bound, and had to rebuild my life and find a way to fulfill my earth purpose. And that led me into starting a nonprofit. It led me into working on legislation, and now into being a candidate for House of Representatives.
I love that you not only became an advocate for yourself, which that was completely out of necessity, you know, battling a broken medical system and insurance system. And those two things are, you know, intricately interwoven at this point, yeah. But that you became an advocate for others. And even when you received a refund from your insurance company because you were going to save them a lot of money by paying out of pocket essentially for your own, you know, experimental treatment years ago, that when they gave you the refund, that you immediately turned around and invested that into your community and into other people that were facing a lot of the same struggles that you were. And I think that speaks a lot to the person that you are and what makes you an excellent candidate for representing others in your home state.
Yes, I think it's important. I strongly believe in individualized care and also individualized freedom. And we need to be able to have the freedoms that were afforded to us in the Constitution by our founding fathers. And a lot of times, especially in healthcare, our rights get trampled on in many different aspects of our life, even with energy and the things that we want to do in everyday life. And it's going to be different for each of us. We should have the ability to live our best life and to have the pursuit of happiness and to have life in liberty. And our military is where that comes from. Both of my parents are military. My father-in-law is military, and they're all passed away now. But they showed us growing up, my parents showed me that our freedom and liberty comes from the service and sacrifice of those who served our country, all of our country back, 250 years ago and up through today. And so it's definitely something that weighs heavy on me. And I want to make sure that I never infringe on somebody else's rights to freedom and liberty.
Well, and you talked about the rights that are being trampled on, and sometimes in the medical field, it's done outside of the patient's, hospital room, and it's done behind closed doors, and not necessarily always by doctors, but by administrators and people who are writing insurance policies. And it's atrocious the way that our patients are treated. People are sick and need help, and these people who are more concerned about counting pennies and stashing them away in their own bank accounts are in control of people's right to a happy and healthy life.
Absolutely. And I can tell you one of the things that really gets me, my father-in-law was living here in Arizona nearby, and he was going through throat cancer. And he kept getting his VA appointments pushed back month after month. They would send him a new, uh, you know, schedule of what his appointment was going to be, and they kept postponing it. And finally, after about 3 reschedules, he went in person and said, "What is going on? Why am I being rescheduled?" And they said, "We are not allowed to talk about it, but if you turn around and look at the waiting room, you'll see what's going on." And it was because the illegals were being treated through our VA system on the federal level, taking our resources that should have been going to our veterans and to our military, and using that to pay for illegals to get care. Those are the kind of decisions when insurance companies say, "Oh, we can't do step therapy this way. We're going to make a loophole and make it so that we don't pay for your treatment." As you said, I shared in our other segment on getting better together, they were doing similar to me. They were railroading me through the process of getting access to care. And it's something that we have to be paying attention to, especially for our veterans, but for everybody that is here doing it correctly, thinking that your insurance company is supporting you and backing you, thinking that our VA is supporting and backing our military, knowing that there's pitfalls. And I'm glad now that our veterans are able to leave the VA system and go out into the regular medical professionals' offices and get the care that they need. That was something that needed to happen to help fix that breakdown in the system. But we also need that for all individuals that are trying to do the right thing and work through a broken healthcare system and insurance system to find that access. And it's really important to me, especially for our veterans. I think they deserve treatment over regular civilians because of the service and sacrifice that they have given.
Well, at least deserve to be treated as such and not less than, for
Right.
certain. And I couldn't agree with you more. Obviously, Operation Combating Veterans Suicide is a organization that I'm very close to, and have a role inside of the organization as well. That to hear the stories that you're telling, especially of your, father-in-law who's battling cancer, to how is this man not a priority? He has given everything to this country, and to hear that people who are not even from here, I think, is appalling to anyone that hears that.
Yeah. People didn't know that it was happening, but as a future legislator, it's something that absolutely has to be fixed. And we're making steps, we're chipping away at it. A lot of times from other legislators I've seen, when I put a bill together, I want a single issue bill, but I want to fix the things that are broken. And they want a single issue bill that fixes one thing at a time. And to fix what we need fixed, it's going to take us to go in with a velvet hammer and fix multiple areas so that there isn't loopholes and isn't other ways around what needs to happen. And situations like what my father-in-law faced. He's a 3-time Purple Heart recipient, and he's now buried in Arlington National Cemetery, just down the road from where my mother is, with special honors. And when they were living is when they should have been receiving those honors and awards and health care. And it shouldn't have been going to illegals that broke the law to come into our country. And I'm saying that as someone who was born in another country. I was born in Bangkok, Thailand, and I had dual citizenship with both of my parents being military. I was born off base. I had to give up my Thai citizenship. Now they let you keep it, but back in the 70s, you had to give it up I had to swear when I was 12 to be a good American in front of a judge with my hand up in the air. I promised to be a good American and make that pledge. I think that the people who sacrificed their lives for us should have priority over another American and even an illegal to get the care that they need. And so it's something that I will be pushing for as the legislator.
Well, and that's good. Well, and I'd like you to speak a little bit more about that. We've covered a little bit, obviously, your advocacy for individual rights, but speak a little bit more about your platform that you're running on in your legislative campaign.
My platform is faith, family, and freedom in the Constitution. Faith, God guides me in everything that I do in life. Family and community go together for me. Family should come first. We should be taking care of our families, but we also should be taking care of our communities and making sure that they're as strong as they can be. We should be America first. We should be state first, city first, community first, really grassroots to bring all of that together and get done what we need done. It starts at the local level and goes all the way through to federal level. And that's how we need to be approaching it, or should be approaching it, as civilians and as former military, to make sure that we have the best country for each of us individually. And then freedom. Again, the service and sacrifices that our military have given us, our founding fathers, everybody who has fought for freedoms in our lives should be honored and respected. And we need to bring that forward and carry that through our rights that are inalienable from God, as well as put on paper with our founding fathers to say, these are the things that we need to be able to do. I have bills available, or that I've worked on, ready to go, for education, for pro-life, for energy independence, for border security. And I know our federal government does the federal borders, but we have, being a border state here in Arizona and working with our Indian tribes that cross over into Mexico, we have to look at an interior border as well. I have a bill in a stakeholder committee for that. I am willing to look at any issue. I've had military people come forward, not just my father-in-law, but other military, looking at our the way that our income tax is done. And, you know, we're looking for no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. And we got that federally here in Arizona. We got that through this legislative session, through the House and Senate, and our governor vetoed it. So we don't have those same protections and rights that we fought so hard for in the last election. So looking at all of those things and making sure that we get the right people in that will do the things that we need as individuals of our states to live our best lives is so important. But it literally covers every aspect of our life. And there's basically 9 areas that have been brought up the most when I'm out knocking thousands of doors and asking for the pain points of the constituents and what their voice is. I've taken those 9, researched them, written upcoming bills for them to work on things that we need fixed. For education, one of our laws says that our teachers may be background checked. It should be shall, not may. People hear may and go, oh, that's good. We need to have people background checked. Well, if you want to be working with our kids and you're a parking attendant, a front office staff, a cafeteria worker, we need to know who is working with our kiddos. And so if you want that type of job, you go through the background check, and it gives us a little bit of knowledge about who you are. You don't want to do a background check? Don't be working with the kids that are in your care for 8 hours a day at the schools. So looking at what we're doing, how we balance safety and priority with freedom and privacy, and making sure that we bring forward bills that not only make law, but also deregulate the law. This last 2025, I worked on 16 deregulations with RFK's team to take away laws that are impeding our daily life and our freedoms and liberties, and giving people more freedom, and making sure that we have access to the things we need access to. So for me, it's not all about having a bill. It's about what the core of the bill does. Is it constitutional, and does it give people more access to the proper freedoms and liberties that they should have? And I can also promise I am a strong Second Amendment believer. I believe that no one will take my guns, and I will not take your guns, and I will not pass any laws that take away the freedoms of any of the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or the 27 amendments of the Constitution. So that is where I am coming from.
That covers it pretty well. Barbie, I know that you've had a fair amount of success from the outside, having some of the bills that you've written that are enacted into law now and have been brought to the table, through the process. You're very familiar with the process of getting legislation passed now. Are you at all worried about now stepping into the arena that because of your, when elected, that you would be now a voting member? Are you worried that the politics and the games that are played behind closed doors in the chamber are going to affect your ability to get legislation passed?
I have a degree in social psychology. So I've learned a lot of tips, tools, and resources through that education to learn how to deal with people that don't necessarily agree with me, to get the right things done and get them to come over to the right side and say, this is for the people and this is constitutional. Let's bring it forward. So I very strongly feel that I have the skills to do that negotiation without compromising the people's voice and bringing forward what is needed for my district and my state and federally to make that happen. I think what I've been through physically and mentally with my own health challenges and living with a rare disease has shown that I have strength and grit. I've had people when I've been out texting saying, one guy said, I'm going to come to your house with my gun. And I said, I'll meet you on the porch with mine. And, I think that I have enough grit and strength and backbone that I will not get pulled into the dirty backroom deals, that I can stand up and say, this is right for the people and I'm going to stand strong in it. And this is why I think you should join me. And I think that I can be persuasive enough to get enough people in the legislature to do the right thing, to get the right laws and bills passed. And I also have teamed up and talked to local representatives on the town councils and school boards and sheriff's departments, as well as federal level congressmen and senators and congresswomen, to make sure that we're all working together to get what we need. And when an issue is a local issue that a constituent brings to me, to say, this is a local issue, this is something you need to bring to your board of supervisors, or to, this particular town council, or whatever it is that is affecting their life to be lived in the proper way. So being able to negotiate, being able to communicate, and being able to say, this is where it needs to go to get the best outcome. We had a town in my district that said, we had a board of supervisors meeting, but they saved us to a 4-hour meeting. They saved us to the last few minutes. And then they said, we can have 3 people speak on this issue, 3 people speak against. The voices didn't get heard. Hearing that, in my mind, I said, I need to get this into a bigger area. It's in a silo. More people need to know about the challenge that they're having and bring it into the public eye. And am using my network to have open forums where they can come on and share their voice and talk about how what the Board of Supervisors wants to do is going to affect their daily life, and get their side of the story out so that more people can see, understand, and know. And in doing that, hopefully encourage and motivate other people to come forward. Even at the legislature, I will need the people that voted me in to come down and say, this is an issue that Representative Ingle has brought forward because she knocked on my door, and I am being affected in this way in my life, taking away my constitutional rights on a state and federal level. how do we fix it? And having the other legislators that don't necessarily agree and or our traditional candidates. I'm a clean elections candidate. I don't take money from PACs or lobbyists or corporations. One, I think that shows that I'm willing to work with everybody as well as not be bought. I had a lobbyist say, if you pass my bill without reading it, or it's not pass it, but get it sponsored, we'll make sure that your campaign is fully funded and you have no issues. And I left that meeting saying, I can't do that. I need to read the bill, research the bill, and make sure it doesn't hurt my people. And a lot of legislators will take the money and take the bill forward. Maybe they think they're going to kill the bill, but what happens if they don't kill the bill and they were the sponsor of the bill and now the bill's passed and it's a bad law?
It's absolutely disgusting to even think about that. That's how, not just in Washington, but in our state governments, that we have been co-opted into this, broken system. And I commend you, Barby, for not just, what you've done so far, but what you're going to continue to do to fight back against this system and to fix it from the inside. I'd love to just, in closing here, to just give you the floor and allow you to speak directly to your constituents there in your district that will be voting for you. And we'll be able to clip this out and hopefully you can use it for your social media campaigns moving forward. But Barby Ingle, the floor is yours to speak directly to your voters.
Thank you so much. I hope that you will check me out. You will research me and you will see my track record of getting done the things that need done. The 4 bills that I have now in law are ideas that people brought to me and had challenges in their life. And I wanted to get those things fixed. I know how to do it. I have a proven track record, even though I did it as a volunteer civilian. I want to do this for you to represent LD7, the state of Arizona, and the United States of America. Please check me out at barbyingle.com and feel free to reach out to me. My cell phone is 480-760-1197, and I'd be happy to listen and help you out. Thank you.
Barby, we wish you the best of luck, and we appreciate all the work that you're doing. Our whole country needs a lot more people like you running for office and affecting the change from the inside. Thank you for taking some time for me today. It's been a blessing getting to know you, and we wish you all the luck and blessing in the world moving forward.
Thank you very much, Bubba. And for everybody watching, please rate this 5 stars. Please share it. And please let everybody know how great the Patriot broadcast is, as well as the other shows that Bubba has going on his network. The Getting Better Together podcast is another great one. And there's a lot of resources and things that can help you live a better daily life. So I hope you reach out and give him 5 stars and also check out some of the other episodes.
I appreciate that, Barby. Continuing to be an advocate for others, you are. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.